G'day everyone and welcome to Discussion Points. My name is Bodhi and thank you for joining me this afternoon. This is episode 8 of Discussion Points and I'm joined by two first-year masters, I believe, one of them fresh off a victory in Newcastle and one of them fresh off a third-place finish. So I'd like to personally welcome Jeremy Lim and Robbie Caldwell to the show. Thanks guys for joining me today.
Yep, such a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, boys. So we're going to chat a little bit today about the Newcastle event itself. As it was one of the last City Championships to take place in the breakthrough format, we aren't going to go too much into detail on that format itself. Mostly what we're going to do is have a look at your guys' Vespiquen list, where you guys think Vespiquen's going to be heading in the meta going into Breakpoint, and we're going to have a bit of a discussion about Breakpoint and regionals as well coming up. So my first question to you is actually to Jeremy, who was the winner of the event, and that was, what did you think the meta was going to be like going in to Newcastle?
I actually thought it was going to be like lots of Mega Mewtwo's, Mega Manectrics, and a couple of Toadats from the win of Adelaide. So I just thought that this was going to be a good play because it countered all of them.
And Robbie, now to you, I'm going to ask you the question. Yeah.
Yep.
What actually was the meta like going in on the day?
It was, well, it wasn't really too high of a concentration. I ran into a few mega decks, which good for Vespiquen, but yeah, it wasn't too concentrated in decks. A few Night Marches, I think. That's about it.
And we're going to quickly chat to each of you guys about the event now. I want to specifically know about your top cut rounds. So to Robbie first, who did you play in your top 8?
I played Jeremy Evans, playing Night March.
How was that matchup?
Well, because he didn't run Target Whistle, it made it easier by just not benching Shamans. So so just had to win the prize trade by knocking out opposing Shamans.
And now into your top 4 matchup, who did you play against in top 4?
David Patane. He ran Eviltool Glade Zoroark.
We'll come back to that matchup in a moment
exactly,
as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to chat to Jeremy about his top 8 and his top 4, and then I want to chat to both of you about the Zoroark matchup. So Jeremy, what was your top 8 matchup?
So top 8, I played against John Blair with Toadats. Naturally, it would be a really good matchup for me, but however, he dead drew in the entire two games we played, starting both Shamans both games, and Morgan I think 3 times each game. Even got a judge Joel to shuffle it, and he still like Morgan a few times and started with Shaman, and he just drew past and I won the round. So it's just really unlucky of him. Top 4, I play against Nathan Sherman with Totino. So Giratina was my main problem, so I have Bronzong to get Metalings off and knock out Giratina without using any of my DTEs. Game 1 was relatively easy. He drew into 3 double Dragon Surf, so I pretty much won that. Game 2 was fairly close, and Game 3 was just a bit of luck on his side, getting 2 Crushing Hammer flips on my energies, but I managed to take the win by Metal Links and then Sycamore into my final Metal Energy for the KO.
Now I want to talk about the final and Robbie, your top 4 matchup as well. Did you guys going into the event think, after choosing the deck that you chose, that a Vettel would be a good matchup or a difficult matchup?
It should be a good matchup, I think.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really good matchup. About I think 70-30 matchup, because they don't really have much KO potential besides Evil Tool EX, and they have to stream stuff like Zoroarks and Blades, so you can usually keep up the price trade, and if they bench down an Evil Tool EX, you just go for the 170 damage with Vespiquen.
Okay, and obviously, Jeremy, you went into the finals against this deck after Robbie lost to it. Did you guys have any words for each other after the matchup? Any advice that Robbie gave you for the matchup?
He didn't actually Robbie got really unlucky in his top 4 match. He got Hex Maniac 3 times in a row, game 1, and he only had Unknown and an Ultra Ball for draw, and game 2 he just lost through dead draw. As for me, personally, in my top 2 match, I actually didn't face any dead draw, but my opponent had to bench free Shaman the whole game. But one of the games in game 1, he probably would have won if he knocked out my active Vespiquen instead of life centering my Shaman, going down to 1 prize. Because I actually had 2 Vespiquen's prize that game as my last 2 prizes. But luckily I managed to life center a Shaman and knock it out when he missed the KO on the Vespiquen. And game 2, it was pretty much just me life centering up Shaman EXs and then keeping the price trade and finally getting the final 170 on the Evil Tool EX. So yeah.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you for chatting to me about that. I want to move on now to your guys' list. Obviously, with the priority being Vespiquen and of course Bronzong to recycle the metal energy that you're inevitably going to discard. What did you guys think was the most important card for you guys on the day? What was the card that came in most handy?
Bronzong was actually one of the most useful card in the whole deck because
DC.
DC, yeah, that too. But Bronzong was actually useful in the came-up matchup where there was Assault Vest, was good in Giratina matchups. It was sort of relatively good in Light March as well because you only have 4 DCs and usually you want to knock out about 5-6 Pokemon. And I think one other aspect is Sacred Ash, because you can recycle from 4 Vespiquens to potentially 6 by recycling 2 combis, 2 Vespiquen, and an Unknown or something.
Robbie, how about you? What did you think were the most important cards on the day?
Well, obviously besides the DCA, I think Faded Talent came in really useful against all the Mega decks. If they manage to miss the stadium, it means you get 60 damage off by just sitting there doing nothing, and makes KOs with Vespiquen a lot easier.
Absolutely. There is a card in your guys' list that I do want to chat to you about as well. Sorry. I'll let you go on.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I was going to chat to you guys about the inclusion of Lugia EX in your decks, and now you guys were very gracious in sending me your deck list from the weekend so I could have a look through, and Lugia EX is the card that I want to chat to you both about the most. What is it used for, and where did you find it most useful?
Yeah, I'll say this. Lugia EX was actually really useful in the Evil Tool matchup because of its resistance to resistance to Gallade, yeah. And pretty much Evil Tool couldn't really take knockouts on the Lugia, so Lugia's mainly a wall to block off the attacks, like 1 hit KOs, and then you can AZ the Lugia and then respond with a knockout. It was also good in Lucario Vaps as of course a wall, the light artillery, and yeah, I think, and stuff like that. Just mainly fighting decks.
Fantastic. There is one other thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we move on. The Vespiquen decks that were shown to be popular at the start of the season all involved cards like Flareon, like Jolteon. A lot of decks were playing Vespiquen with Raichu, 4 Shamans, things like that. Really just streamlining even Plant Forest. Is there a reason that you guys chose this this Bronzong, this Slurpuff style of Vespiquen, did you feel that it was that way of playing the deck is just better?
Ren actually built the list. He started off by using Vespiquen Flareon, but turns out Blacksmith isn't really reliable and it uses your support for a turn. And Bronzong's was just generally more reliable by always constantly recycling energy and stuff. As for Giant Force Plants, we just couldn't really use it because of Faded Town's utility. And as for like Slowpuff is really useful in stuff like Toad matchup, where if you get item lock, you can Slowpuff out of it. We also want like 1 energy retreat costs, so we can actually like switch around Pokemon instead of getting Lysander stalled. Bronzong was the only one with 3 energy, and we have AZ for that. Just yeah.
Robbie, how about you?
Well, it's just with like all the evolutions, you're kind of relying on weakness. So, it became difficult in matchups where there were no weaknesses to exploit, and also a bit too much reliance on Blacksmith in my list at least. But yeah, that's about all I can add to what Jeremy said.
Alright, now I wanna look forward with you guys now, as we don't have any more City Championships in the X and Y to breakthrough metagame. For next week and the week after as well, we're going to be playing with Breakpoint cards. What do you guys think Vespiquen is going to look like going into the Breakpoint meta? What do you think it gains, if anything, and what do you think other decks gain that may or may not be a problem for Vespiquen? I'll start with Robbie this time.
Well, the addition of Fire and Fury Belt in the meta game makes it a lot tougher for Vespiquen to hit knockouts on things like Giratina, like 210 non-mega Pokemon. It's a big number to hit. And what it gains, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Puzzle, yeah, you could include Puzzle of Time. But other than that, nothing really.
It gains, in my opinion, it actually gains matchups because it beats Garchomp in the next format due to Grass weakness. But other than that, I think something like Slowking might actually be hard to beat, like for Vespiquen to to thrive in the next format, because Slowking, the ability, I think moves, it's a flip coin effect that moves one of your energies to one of your bench, so it's really hard to stream like attackers when your DC gets moved to like the bench one zone or something. That's just in my opinion.
Coming into the next format, we also have the inclusion, or the re-inclusion, I should say, of Garbodor. Do you think that would be a difficult matchup for Vespiquen?
Okay, with Garbodor, it shuts down your, like, one zone, but other than that, if you set up really quickly, I don't think it's a problem. And also, one zone's only used for the matchups in Entei, where the Assault Vest is useful, I mean, for the opponent, and Giratina. So, yeah, if they use Garbodor in that, then I think Vespiquen will be in a lot of trouble. But otherwise, I think it has the speed to just topple Garbodor decks before like Garbodor gets set up, and yeah.
How about with the reintroduction of Trevenant, Robbie?
Trevenant, honestly, I don't think it would be that popular of a deck, but that's my opinion. Trevenant, I don't know. Well, if they miss the turn 1 Trevenant, you can just set up everything turn 1. But it's kind of difficult if they get it before you even get a turn. You know what I mean? Because you got all these items, can't really play.
Yeah, that's very true. I want to go more in depth now into Breakpoint while we go on. What do you guys think, in your opinion, is going to have the biggest impact card? What is the card with the biggest impact going to be from Breakpoint?
I'd say Fighting Fury Belt.
I think puzzle time might be useful for Toad decks to recycle DCs and stuff like Crushing Hammers, Team Grunts, stuff like that.
Do you guys think that as we continue deeper and deeper into the Breakpoint metagame, we're going to see an increase in Seismitoad?
Yeah, I actually think Toad will be really popular for this weekend. That's why I'm actually expecting it this weekend. Toad Bats, Toad Garbodor, Toad Empoleon, stuff like that. Personally, I think Toad Garbodor will be the most popular since it beats pretty much every other variant of Toad.
Does that inherently make Vespiquen better?
Yeah, it does, but like I said, I'm also scared about Giratina being popular, and I think Flying Fury Bolt just makes everything harder to for Vespiquen to knock out, especially with stuff like Darkrai Hypno, if that's a deck, and any other like Manectric Bats if they run Flying Fury Bolt. I think it's just too much for Vespiquen to handle.
Robbie, how about you? What do you think that we might see for this first weekend of the City Championships in Breakpoint?
I think we'll see a lot of Night March and a lot of Seismitoad. Just Fighting Fury Belt gives Night March that little edge that it needs for Joltix, because like the baby Eviltor would just knock him out in the past format. With Fighting Fury Belt, you got 70 HP Joltix that are pretty difficult to knock out with non-EXs. And Seismitoad's going to be popular to counter that, I reckon.
And if you guys could think about it for me for just a second, I will give you 1 second to think about this, as it's a question that I have just thought of on the fly. What do you think is going to be the biggest surprise deck we see out of Breakpoint? What deck do you think, when you look at it and go, man, I could really see that doing something or doing really well somewhere, but I don't know who's going to play it or why people would play it, but I have a feeling that it's going to do well. Is there a deck that you can see out there like that? Because I have one in my mind.
Garchomp. I love Garchomp.
Garchomp. I love Garchomp.
Yeah. If Garchomp had survivability against Toad and like it won't get crippled as much against item lock, I think Garchomp just cripples everything because of its strength against EX decks with its second attack and just its general energy acceleration.
Also Holuchas against the EX decks.
I actually think that there will be some people that are going to try Garchomp in Night March. Much like the old school version of Night March that relied quite heavily on Empoleon, and that was reasonably popular at the World Championships. I can safely say that there are going to be people out there that use Garchomp in a way to get around perhaps a less than stellar Seismitoad matchup by recycling DCs onto bench Night Marches. I think that is a deck that could potentially do very well in a metagame where nobody expects the turn 1 Garchomp on your opponent's board when they have a Joltik down as well.
Well, now they do.
Exactly. All 12 people that watch my videos now know. Alright guys, I just want to finish up with some discussion about the regional championships that we've got confirmed now. I believe there are 5 of them, and we're probably going to get another 2 in the next week or so confirmed. So, are you guys planning on traveling anywhere for regionals? Are you going to go to as many as you can, or are you going to just stick to Sydney?
Well, I'm not going to be at Sydney, Canberra, so I have to travel.
Yeah. Besides Sydney, Canberra, I think I'm confirmed going to 2 regionals so far. maybe like I'm not gonna say which ones yet. 'Cause, like I haven't really worked out the details yet. But maybe Brisbane and maybe Melbourne.
Hey, you stay away from up
But
here, Jeremy. I need those points.
and there may be a chance I might go to like Adelaide and stuff as well. So I'm probably gonna go nearly everything, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Fantastic.
And I'm gonna tag along.
Yep, I'll be tagging along with you. But I have year 11, so that might be a problem for me to organize trips.
Of course. Well, guys, to the both of you, I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening. It has been a pleasure chatting to you guys. I really do enjoy listening to a pair of you that have played a deck that I haven't had a chance to interview anybody yet, or a deck that is sort of considered a little bit off meta and not exactly a deck that is making waves at the moment. But I really am appreciative of you guys taking the time to chat to us this evening, so thank you very much.
A friend of mine also wanted me to shout him out, so shout out to Aiden for the World tournament, like his first season. So yeah.
Are there any other shout outs
so
you guys
many
would like to
win-ins.
give?
Brent for the list, like for the creating these nuts, the Vespiquen deck, and Scoreboards for just generally being awesome and taking down 4 cities.
Damn it, I was gonna do Scrubboards.
You can do Channel Fire Energy.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Channel Fire Energy.
Yeah. Congratulations to both of you guys, and I hope that I can see you guys over the sets of regionals that we have now. But once again, everybody, thank you very much to my guests, Jeremy Lim and Robbie Caldwell, for joining me this evening. My name has been Bods. This has been Ace Trainer Australia's Discussion Points, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.